Alright, what up everybody? Week 5's on tap. Another franchise mode matchup here, and I'm trying to get to 5-0. The real life Packers are going to be trying to get to 3-2 this week after loss, unfortunately, to Minnesota here this past week. The Rams in real life are 1-3 on the year. They're 2-2 in this dynasty, so, or franchise mode, I guess, so we'll see how this one goes. But yeah, before we kind of get underway all the way here, just a little quick housekeeping. We had planned on doing the NFL reaction video this past week, and so Hurricane Helene had hit, and you know, luckily for us, we kind of missed it, but our office had closed for a day, so work's been a little bit hectic, trying to make up for the day that we did close, and so that kind of threw off everything timing wise. We plan on doing a reaction video to this game against the Rams, plus the NFL kind of recap through the first 5 weeks now, starting after the game, basically recorded after the game on Sunday night. So hopefully that'll be up like Tuesday or so. And then while that's going out, I think we're planning on doing a preview for the Cardinals game, because now we get another hurricane in Hurricane Milton, I think it was. Yeah, Milton. Because I keep wanting to call it Hurricane Melton because of Bo Melton. But yeah, so with all that said, that's kind of the plan, and you know, we'll try to get some other stuff on here. Like, I'm probably going to end up doing some Fortnite clips or something too, so stay tuned. And then also, I'll probably end up having the NASCAR Heat 5 video next week as well, so with all that said, what up, Zach? How you doing?
I'm doing swell. Not looking forward to Milton.
Yep.
But I guess other than that, I'm okay.
Yeah, that thing, the way it's planned out right now on the forecast path, looks like it might cut right through here, so that'll suck.
I agree.
And speaking Speaking of sucking, you know, this game against the Vikings, man, that sucked to lose that one after the furious comeback attempt, but
yeah, it was very hurtful.
Yeah, 29-31. Vikings are surprisingly 4-0, and you know, Green Bay went to 2-2, but kind of the tale of two halves on that one. Minnesota in the first half, I think their first 3 drives were all touchdowns, and then we finally got a 3-and-out against them, only to have the interception that set up their 4th touchdown. And really, honestly, the only reason why we got points in that one was because of their muffed punt that ended up leading to the recovery on the 3 and a touchdown a couple plays later. So 28-7 at half is not ideal. But then obviously the big comeback attempt ended up leading to just 3 points scored by Minnesota in the second half as Green Bay, you know, rallied. So overall, what were your thoughts on the game?
I mean, it's never pleasant to lose, especially to the purple incarnation of Satan. But I mean, I guess they battled hard to come back. Love looked solid, you know, off the injury. First interception was not good. Last interception was not good. Second interception was very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Run game, when we used it, looked okay. Jacobs once again got plagued with I think 3 pretty solid runs that were called back to penalties. That seems to happen to him every week. You know, Reed balled out again, not surprising. Wicks had a decent game, but man, the drops are killing us.
Yeah, very high highs, very low lows.
Yeah, I think he had 3, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe 4 drops on 3rd down plays that all ended drives.
I remember, I think looking at the stats earlier this week, it was like he got credited with 2 as a very generous 2, and realistically it probably could have been a third or fourth in there.
Maybe.
Yeah, either way.
I know that he dropped one on, it was either our first or second drive, and that was ended up being one of the missed field goals. So I think it was drive 1.
Yeah.
And if he catches that, it's at least a first down, because I think it was a 3rd and 6, and he caught it at about 4 yards past the line of scrimmage. He should have been able to get a first down before he got tackled, since it was a crossing route. He just dropped it. And then I want to say there was another one sometime in the second quarter, and then maybe one more in the third or fourth. You know, maybe one of them was more contested, and that's why they didn't count it as a drop, but it looked like a drop to me.
Yeah, potentially.
You know, he did have 2 touchdowns, so I mean, it's a, you know, when he's good, it's great. When it's not, it's a drop.
Yeah, the dude gets open all the time. It's just, it's sort of just been the drops on it. Like, if he can actually maintain the catches and stuff, he will do dominant, and that's going to be something that'll be interesting against the Rams, but we'll get into that a little bit. But yeah, kind of going into that game too, when I was doing the solo preview last week, you know, Love coming back off of injury, kind of wondered how he was going to do. And, you know, especially early as he was still getting into it, you could see some of the rust there. I don't think there was ever, I don't think I ever saw so many passes where it was like closely contested catches because it was hitting the ground as people were trying to catch them until that game. But, you know, he first half of when I looked it up, he was only like around his 50% accuracy completion. It was like 12 of 23 for 114 yards and the 1 touchdown right before the half when they gifted it to us on the goal line. And, you know, the first 2 picks. That second half, though, man, holy crap, he lit it up. It was 20 of 29, 271 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. And according to Packers Talk, in the fourth quarter alone, he was 13 of 17 for 204 and 3 touchdowns with the pick. So, like, when the Packers kind of knocked off the rust there after 3 quarters, man, they just lit up the Vikings, which was impressive as hell, too, because Minnesota going into it had only given up 30 points all year, and then Green Bay by themselves gets 29. So, I'm not too worried about the Packers right now. I think they'll get business done the next 2 weeks. But just to kind of hit the checkpoints of what I was looking at going into it. Yeah, like you mentioned with Jacobs in the running game looked good whenever we weren't, you know, forced to be pass heavy on that one. Jacobs had 9 carries for 51 yards. The team as a whole had 19 carries for 86 yards, which is about 4.5 yards per carry, which is kind of what I called out during the preview anyways, going into it. And I had mentioned I expected us to see more of Kraft out there just because of, you know, Musgrave's blocking and, you know, the pressures that Minnesota was going to bring. And that ended up being the case when you looked at the snap counts for this one. It ended up being 65 snaps for Kraft, 25 for Musgrave. And Kraft had a big day doing it, like 6 catches, 53 yards and a touchdown. Unfortunately, he had the fumble in the fourth quarter as the comeback attempt was going on, so that sucked. But, you know, the dude's batshit crazy at times, especially with some of the quotes you hear. So, kind of love to see the effort there, and hopefully he continues to do well this year. Offensive line, a little bit sketchy. You know, obviously Minnesota was doing all the pressures that we were kind of talking about. Ooh, snap. I went to go throw that screen and I saw Heath, like, just absolutely getting picked off, or like he was going to get picked if I threw it there, so I just held it. But, yeah, I mean, offensive line, after Minnesota had gotten like 5 sacks per game for the first 3 games of the season against, you know, the Giants, the Texans, the 49ers. You know, Packers only gave up 1 sack, but holy crap, there was a ton of pressure on these passes. I don't remember where I saw it, but I think it was like several different spots like Reddit and social media and stuff, but Minnesota blitzed on like 50% of all of Jordan Love's dropbacks, which is, kind of expected, but still insane. And they ended up getting like 10 to 12 quarterback hits on the day. So Love did a good job of getting rid of the ball and making sure that, he wasn't taking sacks or anything either. And that helped kind of save the sack totals against Minnesota. So, oh man, I thought I was going to get a pick off that when I first saw it. But
so close.
Yes, I mean, it ended up kind of the battle we expected, just maybe a little bit more lopsided on how we got there with the pass-heavy approach. But shout out to...
Yeah, I mean, it ended up, point-wise, ended up being a big first half by them, a big second half by us, and the final score was a 2-point difference.
Yeah. But shout out to Jaden Reed as well. Career high 139 yards on 7 catches. We already talked about Wicks a little bit. Sucks to see Christian Watson get injured in the game when everything was still kind of going over the middle of the field and there was a bad throw on that, which that hurt. So he's likely going to be out this week with the high ankle sprain, but at least it's not something worse than that.
At least it's not his hamstring.
Yeah. But yeah, defensively, just to kind of jump on them real quick, McKinney getting another interception on the year, 4 for 4 so far. So we'll see if he can kind of stretch that up. We've already kind of harped 28 points in the first half wasn't great, but, shout out Halfley and all the adjustments made because, again, Minnesota only got 3 points that second half, and it seems like a lot of delayed pressures and stuff like that to kind of get there.
The only thing that was concerning is the Vikings didn't seem to really try to push the ball to the very end of the fourth quarter, and when they did, they were moving. But it could just be that the defense was more tired near the end of the game or something.
Yeah, I will say I was pretty disappointed in the pass rush because kind of going into it, I previewed, like Kenny Clark and them. He had that history against Bradbury, where he's had a lot of good games against him. Wyatt's kind of had the breakout going on, so I was like, maybe he can get something good against Ingram, who had been in like the bottom 10 for pressures allowed and stuff as well. But it also didn't help because both Carrington Valentine and Jair Alexander ended up being ruled out prior to the game, so they were playing with 2 of their top 3 cornerbacks out. But still, you would expect somebody like Rashawn Gary to step up or Clark, and they got nothing going. The only 2 sacks on the day for the Packers ended up being from Quay Walker and Keyshawn Nixon on the delayed, or not really delayed, but that little cornerback blitz that, luckily for us, it was the strip sack that ended up, kind of setting the tone for the comeback attempt after a touchdown and getting a second one. But all in all, Darnold ends up going 20 for 28, 275, 3 touchdowns and a pick because everybody has to give McKinney at least 1 right now. Without Jair and them, available, Justin Jefferson still has not hit 100 yards in a receiving game at Lambeau yet. 6 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown. Addison also kind of got around Stokes and company this week. He ended up at 3 catches for 72 yards and a touchdown. And, also, even though we haven't mentioned it just yet on the video, but Aaron Jones returned to Lambeau Field as a member of the enemy. And, Green Bay was able to at least keep him out of the end zone, and that's, I guess, a small moral victory there. But he did about what it was expected. I thought he would get a little over 100 yards rushing, but he ended up at 93 on 22 carries, so about 4.2 yards per carry, which is actually a little bit less than what we were allowing going into it. And then he also added 46 yards on 4 catches. So, overall, disappointing game, but at least they made the comeback attempt there. And before we move into the preview, shout out to the Irish Hammer over there, Daniel Whelan. That man had a 74-yard punt this week. Like, holy crap. But he also had like 2 down inside the 20, so nice to see a great punter again.
Also, I don't know if you want to count this more towards the preview, but Narvison says he thinks he knows why he's missing kicks.
Yeah, I saw that too. They're talking about his plant foot and everything kind of not being in the right spot.
Yeah, I don't really know what that means because I don't know how to kick, but hopefully it means something to him.
Yeah, hopefully. Because, I don't know. I wonder if it's like how with bowling, if I have my foot like kind of not lined up correctly, I'm pushing it or something like that. So maybe he's doing the same thing. I don't know. I can't kick
I
worth a
mean,
crap either.
it makes sense because that's how like goalies try to guess where a player's going to kick a penalty kick.
Yeah.
They try to watch and see how their foot plants to kind of see if it'll shift one way or the other to let them know if they're going outside or inside or whatever.
Yeah.
So and it's just like in batting, in baseball, if you step away from the plate, you're more likely to pull it. If you step towards the plate, you're more likely to push it. Because it changes your body angle a little bit.
Yeah.
But in the specifics of kicking a field goal, I don't know what he specifically noticed that seemed so apparent and egregious that they didn't notice before.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out here shortly. But
I hope so.
yeah, because missing 2 field goals definitely did not help the calls this week either.
You miss 6 points on field goals and lose by 2. That hurts.
Yeah. But
I think that hurts. What are you doing?
Man, that sucked. I have no idea what the hell's going on there. But yeah, going into this game, this is going to be the 100th matchup all time between the Packers and Rams when you include the postseason in there. Which you realize that the Rams and Packers played a ton back in the day and not as much now, but that still kind of caught me off guard when I realized it was game number 100 when I was looking at the dope sheet this week. And yeah, but Green Bay right now leads the series 50, 47 and 2, 46, 40 or 48, 46 and 2 in the regular season only. But they have owned the series as of late. As I have to kind of get ready to knock out the Rams here on the real life game. Or in the virtual game, excuse me. But
yeah, oh no, BB, what you doing?
Hey, Green Bay's won 8 of the last 9 against the Rams in the regular season, and 15 of the last 20. That includes a 20-3 victory last year that kind of turned the tide for our season and helped spark, the run to the playoffs. Injury report: Wyatt's out. Christian Watson's doubtful, but probably out. Dobbs all of a sudden is out with the suspension, so that's kind of a weird one. The reports have been about concerns about playing time and stuff, but it sounds like just a 1-week suspension, they'll move on, but not really
they didn't say it was about playing time. They said it was about
the role, whatever.
I mean, it's different.
It is. Still weird, but hopefully
it is still weird.
Hopefully he's alright. But yeah, and then kind of a long list on the questionables. You got Musgrave, Jordan Morgan, Jenkins, Ford, Cooper. All them are all marked questionable right now. But Jair also and Valentine. I think of the entire group though, the only ones that didn't actually practice on Friday was Watson, Wyatt, Dobbs, and Musgrave. So we know that Dobbs, he was originally doubtful, and I think I mentioned him as doubtful, but the suspension happened. So he's definitely not playing. And for the Rams, Kupp is out. They also have Murchison, their defensive end, who's out. And then you get like the huge list of guys on IR, including Nakua still. They have Jonah Jackson, Noteboom, John Johnson, basically like 3 of their starting offensive linemen and a safety, and the receivers, plus Higbee's still physically unable to perform list. So not the healthiest of lineups going into this edition of Packers-Rams, but that's led to Green Bay being favored about 3.5 points most places. And honestly, going into it offensively, I expect Green Bay to just absolutely pound the rock this week. Because, man, the Rams defense, the run defense specifically, is actually worse than the Colts that we tore up in week 2. Going into this week, they have given up 133 carries for 662 yards. So basically just under 5 yards a carry. But the 165 yards per game is the worst in the league. And then obviously too, like when they actually are passing the ball and stuff, I expect Reed to, be a beast. But I think you'll see somebody like Wicks get a touchdown just, off of game plan and everything. And the Rams also really haven't had much in the way of turnovers this season. They've only had 1 interception so far and 4 forced fumbles. 2 of them have been recovered by the Rams, but also really haven't gotten a whole lot of sacks either. They're bottom 5 in sacks with 7 so far. So how do you think the offense will do this week?
I think it's going to be a little weird since we're missing 2 of our wide receivers. Jordan Love, I think, will be more efficient. I think he'll play more like fourth quarter Jordan Love in the Vikings game. Knock the rust off a little bit, feel a little more comfortable with his knee. I think that Jacobs will have a good game too. Of course, he's kind of had a good game every week. It's just he's not always had the stats because he's had several runs returned for holding. And in a lot of cases, those holding penalties had no effect on the play at all. The hold happened as he was already past the defender that got held. But, that penalty don't matter. It's coming back. So I think he's going to have a pretty solid game. I feel confident in the offense. The defense is still a little shaky at times. We've played 2 seemingly good offenses, and they gave up over 30 points to both of them. We played 2, seemingly bad offenses, and they, did pretty good to keep them in the teens.
Yeah, I think defensively this week, this is going to be more along the lines of the Colts and Titans compared to the Eagles and Vikings, but, I hadn't really watched.
Hard to say with Stafford over there.
Yeah, Stafford's good. But outside of him, kind of reading up on the Rams this week because all I've really had a chance to watch live so far is just a little bit of the Bears game, a little bit of the 49ers game, but mostly just kind of clips. They tend to run a ton of 11 personnel apparently, and a lot of fans are kind of been frustrated about that because they're like, we don't have, Kupp, Nakua, and we're still trying to run 3 receiver sets. But as I said that, but the one game that they did win, which was random as hell that they beat the 49ers still, even after all that, is the game that they ran 12 personnel, where they had 2 tight ends and the running back. And somebody that you'll have to watch in this game is Kyron Williams at running back. He's had more solid performances on the ground in the last couple, games and stuff, but he's also been able to get a touchdown every single game so far this season. So hopefully, we're able to kind of stop that, as I just stopped the Rams offense, so got a chance to win it late here. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a sketchier game than normal, but yeah, I'm hoping that Green Bay can keep Williams from getting his first 100-yard rushing game of the season. And then with kind of everything set up, Tutu Atwell, I think he was supposed to be their number 3 or number 4 receiver this year, but he's kind of been the guy to step up so far. So far this year, he's had 11 catches for 223 yards. But over the last couple of weeks, he's had over 80 yards both weeks, and he's had a 20-plus yard catch in each of the last 3 weeks. So, I think he'll probably have like another big play or 2. But as long as they can kind of keep him from, really doing any damage, like if they give him more of the Hopkins role at best that he had in Tennessee, or that Hopkins had against us in Tennessee, I don't think that that's going to be nearly enough to kind of overcome everything. So I have right now Packers winning this one in like a 27-13 kind of feel right or get right game. But also, before I get your prediction, I just want to give a shout out to my Knowles because Jared Verse with them got player of the month for September, or at least the, I think, rookie of the month or something like that. And then Braden Fisk over there, he was doing really well for them too. So as a Knowles fan, this season hurts, and I miss them so much right now. But with that said, what is your prediction for this week? As I almost threw a damn pick there.
Well, we're playing on the road, but the Rams aren't exactly the best home team in the league, attendance-wise.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be not quite as hostile. Matt LaFleur is also coached pretty well against the Rams. I get that, you know, every year it's a different team, but he has had a history of doing well against the Rams. So I feel confident. I don't think it's going to kill us that we're missing our, you know, effectively two of our top 3 wide receivers. So I'm thinking it's going to be like 28-21, about a touchdown difference, Packers.
All right. I'm not gonna lie, if the Rams get 21 on us, I'm gonna be a little bit disappointed. But with that said, trying right now to set up a long field goal, and if I can get closer, then all gravy. Alright, so here we go.
Do it for the vine.
Do it for the vines! We have 31 yards till the end zone, which I'm not going for the end zone right now, but Rams are out of timeouts. 3rd and 6, 41 seconds left. Still got all my timeouts, so we're good there. I got absolutely no help on the blocking right then, so that sucked. I'm like scared that if I don't like if I like click the play and it does a rundown too far, that might screw me. I'm just letting the clock run down to about 3 seconds and then I'll kick the field goal. And then we'll either go to overtime or get the dub.
Don't miss it.
This is Narvison's get right kick right here. Put good vibes into the world for the game this week.
And we're leaving it up to you?
Oh my god. Oh, that was beautiful.
You were almost short. You doinked it, but it went in.
Oh, my heart actually skipped a beat on that. That was amazing. Oh, shit. I think that's the farthest field goal I've made on Madden so far this year, too.
I didn't even see what the yardage was.
49
I just
yarder?
know that you barely got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get full power on the bar.
In real life, I hope that he can kick a little harder than that.
Oh, dude, he can. I remember he made that 59-yarder pretty easily in the preseason. I was scared of overshooting the power meter and sending it off to like the freaking ether over there, and almost made it too short instead. But all right, y'all. Well, hopefully we'll be in a happy mood for the next Madden video with a hopefully above 500 record. But yeah, any last words over there, Zach?
No, that's all I got.
All right, man. Well, we'll end it there with a go Pack go, and see you shortly. Baby, it's you and I